everyone, welcome to the show. My name is Amanda Ostrander. I am a teacher turned homeschool mom, and this is Raising A to Z, a place where we talk about all things homeschooling. And today, I'm going to show you how I build a weekly routine that actually works. A lot of new homeschoolers like to ask me, how do I get it all done? Actually, that's a question I get a lot in general, is how do I get everything done? I am a very busy person. I do a lot of things. My kids have a lot of activities. People are kind of sometimes surprised at what we can accomplish in a day. And I think that's personality. It's a little bit. Me and my husband, very go-getter people. But part of it comes down to having a really solid weekly routine and a really solid weekly plan that kind of just makes it really easy to figure out what we're doing on a regular basis. I'm a big believer in automating, which means taking things out of my brain and putting them into systems that would just happen. And one of the ways that I love to have automation is having like a routine or a schedule that just kind of just happens. So I do make it a point of taking a little bit of time and doing a little bit of planning. Last week I did a whole video on like planning out a month of our homeschool unit and like what my homeschool planning looks like. But I thought I would give you also a little bit of an overview of like how I plan out what our routine is going to look like for a section of time. And I do say a section of time because routines change and adjust with seasons and different points in our lives. So kind of every like 3 to 4 months, I do kind of like reassess and readjust because things change. Activities change. Kids drop something. They pick something up. Maybe what you're doing wasn't working. Maybe you're finding your kids need more sleep. Like different things happen. Okay. And we need to be like flexible in that it's our routine. We built it. We can change it whenever we want. But also like adjusting with life, right? Like in the winter, we do a lot more like inside activities because it's winter and it's cold in Canada. It's just the way it is. But in the summer, my kids want to be outside more. So like I'm trying to keep their school days a little shorter than normal so that they have a lot of time to get outside. And so like we have different routines and different schedules at different points in the year. That's okay. And it's very normal. But I'm going to show you how I build my routine so that they actually make sense and are practical and useful for us. Usually I do this in a notebook. I got a little paper here. I'm going to show you how I do it. But usually this is how I start my planning. I have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday in a notebook. And then I have AM, PM, and eve. So morning, afternoon, evening. I'm not fancy. This is literally how I do it. And usually I do it, like I said, in a notebook and it's just lines drawn. I'm not a fancy person at all. So I start by adding the things that are out of my control on a regular basis in terms of like, I don't pick the time. So for example, I don't pick the time of co-op. That is another lady who is wonderful and runs it and organizes our location. I don't pick the time. So I have to put that in because I can't move that. I don't pick what time Jiu-Jitsu is. I don't pick what time Girl Guides is. Those are not things that I have control over. So those go in first because I can work around those, but I can't change them, right? So we start by adding them to our calendar. So Tuesdays we have Jiu-Jitsu and choir. Wednesdays we have Girl Guides. Thursdays we have co-op in the afternoon, and Fridays we have Jiu-Jitsu in the morning. Okay, so we add them in to our calendar with the stuff that I can't change. Okay. Then I start adding in things that I would like to happen on a regular basis that are good for our family, good for our health, good things that I just would like to happen semi-regularly. So for example, or that things that need to happen. Okay. So for example, on Monday afternoons, I like to do tea time with my kids. I do kind of like a weekly meeting during tea time too. Give them a rundown of like what's happening during the week. We drink tea. We read poetry. It's a whole thing. We love tea time. So I like to do that on Mondays. And then on Fridays, typically after Jiu-Jitsu, we run errands. So sometimes that just means grocery pickup. Sometimes that means grocery pickup plus Costco plus like getting something from Old Navy plus like Bayou's books. Like it becomes a whole thing, right? So if I have to run errands or have to do something, I'm already in town. So we do it on Fridays. So Fridays tends to be errand day. And then Friday night is family night. we try to do family night in the evening on Fridays. So I try to put that in there. And that is either going to be a game night or a movie night. So I have that in my schedule. So things that I'd like to happen, kind of bigger things that I'd like to happen throughout the week, but they're in there, right? Because if they're not in there, they're not going to be remembered. Then I go through and I add kind of the more specific daily things that need to happen in terms of homeschooling. So I'll go through and I'll put in what happens every day. So you can see here on a Monday, we have language, math, and art. That's what we do Mondays. Language, math, art. Tuesdays, we do language, math, unit studies. Same thing on Wednesdays and Thursdays. And Friday, we do our spelling test before we go to Jiu-Jitsu. Then I take this plan here, and that's how I decide what is happening each day in terms of lessons. So I know I'm doing 4 language lessons and a spelling test. I know I'm doing 4 math lessons. I'm doing 1 art lesson, and I'm doing 3 unit study lessons. And I go through and I plan out my schedule in my handy dandy homeschool planner, which I made. Link for this is below. Comes in some beautiful covers. Not gonna lie, this is one of my favorites. And I go through and I plan out what's going to happen on each of those days based off of my weekly routine. So when I get to like this point here, this is kind of like the general routine of like what my kids have, what my husband has when he's wondering like, hey, what's happening tonight? Or like, oh, when's a good night to do this? He can just refer to this calendar. But I have a second calendar routine. It's like I have an extended version of this where I have like what I do actually includes the weekends for me. And I'll include things like chores that need to happen. I have like work things that I do. Like, okay, so I need to write an email once a week for my subscribers, or I need to, work on a unit for True North history. Like I have blocks of time that I put in there as well. I think you can imagine where some of those blocks might be. Tuesdays and Mondays are big work blocks for me. Actually, so is Monday because tea time is usually after work block. But like I've expanded this and I will include other things that I need to do on a weekly basis too. So like I have a block of time kind of in there, like on a certain day. Usually it's Thursdays where I do like meal planning for the next week. And I make my grocery list. I have like a block of time where I respond to comments. That is so that I make sure that I, respond to comments here on YouTube every single week. I have little blocks of time, and then it makes my life really easy because I know exactly what happens on Mondays. I know exactly what I'm going to get up and go for my walk. That's part of my day. We're going to do language. We're going to do math. We're going to do art. We're probably going to do some baking. Then it's lunch. I'm going to do a little bit of a work block. We're going to have tea. And then we're going to have dinner, and then we're going to the kids are going to have a shower and bath, and that's the whole day basically. And that's it. Like I kind of have like a run through of what every day looks like all the time because I took a few minutes and planned it out. And this adjusts because like come the spring, my kids don't have Mondays and Wednesdays nights off. They have soccer often on those nights. After Easter, choir is over, so we don't have choir anymore. Like, so we don't go to Jiu-Jitsu on Tuesdays. Like, it's a whole thing. And that's why I think it's important to remember that like schedules and routines are living, breathing documents. They're real things that happen based on our real lives. So while it's great to have a schedule and a routine that is going to be reflective of your family and what you guys are doing on a regular basis, don't be afraid to adjust it. Don't be afraid to change it. And don't be afraid to like throw it out the window once in a while. There's nothing wrong with having a PJ day where you just lay around and watch documentaries because it's rainy and cold and miserable and you just don't want to do schoolwork. It's okay. We can do that once in a while. The whole point is being consistent on a regular basis and making sure that you're doing things that make you guys happy and are working for your family. So some of you are going to be like, well, man, that's all great and wonderful, but like, so what does your week actually look like? I will give you a very quick rundown now of what a week looks like for me as a homeschool mom in the current season that we're in. So we'll start with Mondays. Monday, like I said earlier, I go for a walk every morning. After breakfast, come back, we have breakfast. After breakfast, we do language, math, and art. So after art, we have lunch. I have a little bit of a working block. And then we will do tea time. And we sit down, we do tea, read poetry, we'll have a meeting of like what's coming up this week. We also have it as like a little showcase so they can show something that they've been working on. So Lexi might like show off, a movie that she's made, or they might show off, like Zoe might take a few minutes and show us something, or one of her clay creations. Like, we like to do that. That's kind of our tea time. And then we'll do supper. And after supper, we do kind of a tidy up. We kind of give the house a little once over, and then baths or showers. And then it's bedtime, and that's the end of the day. Tuesdays start almost exactly the same. Walk, breakfast, then we do school, we'll do language, math, and we'll do a unit study lesson. And then they do their independent stuff. So they have their Duolingo and their piano lessons, practice, and a couple chores. I'll do a couple chores at the same time. We have lunch, work time. We have an early dinner, and then we head out to Jiu-Jitsu and choir, which are back to back. And then we're home, like basically brush your teeth, go to bed kind of time. The kids actually pack like a snack to have on the way home because we get home at like 8:30. We're out of time. That's Tuesdays. Wednesdays, our mornings are basically the same as Tuesdays. So we, again, walk, breakfast, language, math, unit study, independent stuff, piano, chores, yada, yada, lunch. And then sometimes they go to my mom's after. My mom lives just down the street, and so she will sometimes take them on a Wednesday after lunch. Depends on availability. If not, they just hang out and they have some quiet time. I do a work block in the afternoon on Wednesdays. And then we have dinner. If they're at my mom's, they'll usually stay for dinner, and then it'll just be me and my husband who have dinner on Wednesday. But he also has choir practice at school. So Wednesdays it's often a weird day in terms of eating. It depends on who's around. And then pick the kids up from my mom, and they go to Girl Guides. After Girl Guides, they come home and do baths and showers, and we go to bed. Thursdays are the same morning as Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Exactly morning. We do lunch, and then right after lunch, we go to co-op. And co-op runs until the mid-afternoon, late afternoon. 3:30, somewhere in there. And we'll hang out, we'll have a great time. And then I run a couple errands. We do a library run afterwards, because usually I have a book that needs to be returned, or a book that needs to be picked up, or a movie that needs to be returned, or something. So often we'll do a library run. And we always do a mail run, because we have to go to the mail post office to get our mail here. So I'll do once a week. Otherwise, I forget to go to the mail. If it's not my schedule, I don't go to the mail. I will not tell you how many letters were in our mailbox after the long weekend, because it's been like 2 or 3 weeks since I went to the mail. Anyway, so we'll go to the mail, come back, I'll make dinner, and then we'll have like a little hangout, a little chill evening. Also like pack lunches on Thursday nights for Friday, and I'll prep like our crock pot dinner, because I do crock pot dinners on Friday. And then Friday morning I get up, I'll go for a shorter walk than normal. Throw the crock pot on, have breakfast, we'll do our spelling test, and then we head out the door to Jiu-Jitsu, and then we will do, Fridays are a little more iffy, depends on what's going on. Sometimes there's a homeschool event in the afternoon. Sometimes there's, book club or a field trip or something in the afternoons on Fridays. Sometimes there's not. So if there's not, then it opens us up a little bit more to have some options. So we might run an errand day. I try to do like a Costco run once a month, because otherwise I find we spend way too much money at Costco. So I'll do like a Costco run once a month, which is nice. Some days, if there's nothing going on and we just want to come home, we'll do that. And I'll just do like a grocery pickup, which I love, like the pre-ordering your groceries, and then they just like bring them to your car. And we just eat lunch in the car while we're waiting for our groceries to be put in our trunk. Like, it's easy. And so we'll do that. Then whenever we get home, dinner's ready, because it's been in the crock pot. And I try to do like, if possible, crock pot meals that are like all one thing, where I don't have to like do a second thing. You know what I mean? Like, I'll try to do like a crock pot meal where it's like all the vegetables and everything are in there. So it's like super easy that it's like a one pot meal kind of thing. That's what I'm saying. One pot meal. There we go. And we'll eat that, and then we'll do Typically Fridays we try to do movie night because we're tired. We've done a whole bunch of things. So we'll do a movie night. Saturdays are a little bit different. Depends on what's going on, but usually Saturday mornings, we'll get up and again, I go for a big walk on Saturday. I try to do like a 4K, 45-minute, much bigger walk, 4K, 4.5K, something like that. And then we come back, have breakfast. The kids make their own breakfast on Saturdays. We're working on it. And what do we do after that? Then we'll do some tidying up. They get a piano lesson. My husband does their piano lessons because he's a musician. So he'll do their piano lessons with them. Once a month, I'll film a bunch of videos like this because that's just the easiest way to do it. Usually after lunch, I'll do some work again. And then Saturday night, because we're usually not crazy exhausted, we do family game nights because we actually have the brain power to do games. So we have a bunch of board games and we'll do a board game night. Sunday, we get up and go to church and then we come home. And then Sunday is kind of like a catch-up day. So whatever else needs to be finished, we'll try to get done Sunday afternoon. Sometimes we'll do like family dinner with my side or my husband's side because both our parents live nearby. But yeah, Sundays is kind of like a catch-all day. If I have time in the afternoon, I'll do like extra planning, figuring a few things out, setting myself up for the week. But otherwise, it's just an extra kind of little chill day. That's our weekly routine. It's not fancy, but it works for us. And I think that's the important part, is that your routine has to work for you. That is the most important part. If your routine isn't working for you, then what's the point of it? It's got to fit your family. It's got to fit your needs. It's got to fit your lifestyles and your goals. And if you're like, I want to change my routine, our routine isn't working, change one thing. Don't change everything. Pick one thing that you want to adjust and do that for a couple weeks and then adjust something else. I have found that big changes don't work. Like when you're like, okay, everyone's getting up at 7 a.m. every single day and we're doing this and we're doing that. Just pick one thing. Just pick one thing. Okay, we're going to start getting up a little bit earlier. Everyone's been getting up at 9. Let's try 8:30. Adjust things. Be gentle on yourselves and your kids. And you'll find that adjusting and changing and building a routine is a great thing to do. It's the benefits for your family and for your kids and for yourself. Consider it, they're wonderful. It's like an act of self-love. So thank you so much for watching. I hope this helps you guys build a routine that works for you. I hope that this helps you when you're figuring out what your fall routine or life routine will look like for a little while. Make sure that you guys are subscribed and you click the bell to get notifications when I have videos like this that come out. Consider becoming a member because members get early access to videos like this. Plus, they get some really cool bonus content, coupons, extra videos, all kinds of stuff. And make sure you follow me on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok, where I put little details and tips and stuff like this all the time. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys next week.